So, good morning. Welcome to my channel, such as it is. Welcome to my happy knitters, such as you are. I am going to share two things for sure. And you know how these things go. You have a plan, and then you might ad lib and do some extras. So, I wanted to show you. Oh, here it is right here. My neck warmer. No, not a neck warmer. It's a cooling cloth. This is it. So this is 100% cotton. It's picnic cotton from Pearl Soho. I love their product. If you've watched my other videos, you know that I love that product. Slight interlude here. I have to change my microphone because I recorded my video and my microphone went dead. So we'll try again. Right, starting again. Picnic cotton is the material. Basket weave is the pattern. Being rather sort of quick about this. Pattern is knit 5, purl 5, knit 5, and you alternate the rows. I crocheted the edging just to give it a nice finishing touch. And then I did a little bit of lace pattern on the bottom, which is actually a very easy pattern. You double crochet 3, chain 1, double crochet 3, and then just go right on. And down here I actually crocheted into a stitch, missed a stitch, and then crocheted into the next one. So that gives it sort of a bit of a rippled effect. I started off with size 8 needles, and I decided that was too loose of a weave. I didn't want it that loose, especially look at that. When the material starts to stretch out, it can get pretty big. So then I reduced it and went down to a 6, which is probably a good manageable needle size for this kind of lightweight yarn. This is 100% cotton and I love it. So where did I get the idea? If you watched my putting up my tent, my Gone with the Wind video, where Stanley and I were camping, we put up the tent. At the end of it, I reached for a cloth because I knit these in washcloth size. And so I grabbed a cloth and I was wiping off the sweat, and then I got an idea. What if I made a larger, long unit, which was easy to do, and then I can use it when I go to Disney, which I do in August. So you just wet it down and you would wear it around your neck, and it would be easy to wipe the sweat off your face and comfortable. I like natural products. I have a cooling cloth that I purchased at Disney because it can get very hot in Florida in August. And I have a cooling cloth, and I never liked the feel of the cooling cloth. To me, it's kind of like wearing pliable plastic. It's just uncomfortable. I didn't like the feel of it. And this is very natural. Years ago, before I purchased a cooling cloth, I used to wet down a washcloth from the hotel room and just wear it around my neck. And then when it dried out, or I needed a bit of extra cooling, I would just wet it in one of the fountains, because there's water fountains all over the parks, and I just wring it out and put it back on my neck. So I thought, why not do that with a larger unit that I've made myself that I know is 100% cotton, and that's a little bit more decorative, a little bit more interesting to wear. So imagine if you just there's several ways to wear this to keep cool. And I like it. It could actually, I have a green dress, so it's a darker than this, a green knit dress, and this works out as a pretty neat accessory. So I don't have to just use it for a cooling cloth, but I'm very pleased with this accomplishment. The next item I have to share, which is another short-term project. It's great to have little projects that you can start and finish within a few days if you wanted to, especially during the summer. So this is a top that I have purchased, a knit top, and I always felt that it wasn't quite long enough. So initially what I did is I took down the hem to add a bit of length, And then I cut off the bottom portion of a t-shirt that I had, and I just sewed it on, and that gave it a little bit more length, but it still needed just a tiny bit more. Everybody has their sort of length of top that they're comfortable with. It's either going to sit sort of at the hips or past the hips. And so what I did is I have this knitted lace. I was actually knitting the lace for a shawl that I had made about a year ago, and it wasn't quite long enough. You knit the lace and then you sew it on. And so it was short. So I scrapped that and did a different lace altogether. But I kept this lace because it was soft and lovely and pliable. I think this was the Tencel yarn that I used. And there was a lot of work put into it, so I didn't want to. You can see all that lace. Look at all that lace. I didn't want to just undo it. It was too much work. Not to undo it. It was too much work to knit it together, which I enjoyed. Okay. So then I pulled out this with, of getting the summer clothing out and shorts and tops and so forth. And then I thought, what if I put the lace on the bottom of my shirt? And so I did. And that's it. And so it just sits about my hip. I think I took a picture of this so I can show that to you. But that's an idea that you can have. I did this, I added a border to a sweater that I have. I did that years ago. I just like the length. So when you purchase something, sometimes you like the looks of what you purchased. It's comfortable to wear, but maybe you want it a bit shorter or longer. You can always add a border of sorts. So I'll insert some pictures here to show you what I've done. So knitting doesn't always have to be about knitting a big project like a sweater or a top. Speaking of which, I finished my top. Too. My picnic cotton tube top. No, tank top. Sorry, not a tube top. I think I'm too old for wearing tube tops. Is this thirdly? 1 and 2 and 3. Anyway, I finished my tank top. So I'll show you pictures of that. And again, it's the Pearl Soho picnic cotton. Honestly, they're going to start giving me shares in the company because I'm always buying from them. And it's an issue for me because I'm Canadian, and that means I have to get it shipped to Canada. But I found, and I may have mentioned this in a previous video, I found that if I order $50 or less, it comes into my mailbox. I don't have to pay duty on it. A few times I've ordered about $80 worth, and the people show up my door, Canada Post. Okay, you have to pay duty on this, so it proves to be expensive. It's a bit expensive anyway, because right now every dollar I spend American, I have to add an extra 40 cents on. That's the exchange rate. It's awful. I hope it changes one day. But I've just decided that for the purchase amount and wearability, this is picnic cotton, and I wear this one all the time. Well, not all the time, but quite a bit. It's worth it. If you pay, let's say, a top costs $50 to make, but you're going to wear it and wear it a lot, then you break that down. That's less than like $10 a year, let's say, if you've worn it or keep it for 5 years. I'm like that. I keep things for a long time. I always tell Stanley that. I keep things for a long time, Stanley. I'm not about to let you go. Anyways, okay, well, happy summer, people. Happy knitting during your summer. And share your summer projects, short or long, with me. Cheers. The third project I'm working on is something I'm designing myself. Now, I have a hat that I like to wear, and it has a great brim that keeps the sun in, shades your eyes. You don't have to be wearing your sunglasses because I don't always like glasses. These are my reading glasses. Other than that, I don't need glasses, which is great. They say I have 20/20 eyesight. Anyway, so I purchased this hat in a place called St. Jacobs, which is about an hour away from me. It's a Mennonite community, and it does its job. But then I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because I had this um, silk that I purchased and I knit with, and I knit a top, and I just found that it was a little bit too stiff. Now, the gal who owns the wool shop where I purchased my material, she said if you wash it, it will actually soften up. I never gave it a chance to do that. I don't know. So I took the top apart and I rewound the wool. You have to soak it, bind it like a skein of wool, let it dry, and then you can reuse it without wrinkles. So I was thinking, like, oh, that was a waste of money. I bought 2 balls of that. What am I going to do with it now? Well, I decided that I'm going to crochet a hat, and I'm using this hat as my template. Let's see if I can show you this. See that? That's where I get my idea and my pattern idea. So I'm at the point where I need to do the brim. The brim in the front is wider than the brim on the back. The brim on the back is a little bit shorter, which is great because it sits nice on your neck. So, and I thought, well, it's a little bit pliable, too loose, but there's a stiffening product that you can spray on to help it keep its shape. So I'm not going to spray that on the top part because the top part is fine. I'm just ready to do the brim, and after I crochet the brim, I will spray that stiffening product on and see how that goes. So the whole thing is kind of an experiment for me. There are all kinds of summer hats that you can knit up, and I like the idea that this is a little bit more holey. It means it'll catch some breeze, keep your head cool, because I do find that with this sort of what would they call it, grassy material that is synthetic, that it doesn't allow the top of your head to breathe, and that's important, especially in the heat of summer. So anyway, I thought I would try this out, and I'm ready to do the brim, and I'll share that with you in another video when I finish the hat. So these are a few summer projects that you can take on if you feel inclined. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate your time. Keep cool this summer. Don't let the heat get to you. And if you make a cooling cloth, please let me know.